Good morning. All right, so here we are. We are now coming into class number 8. And while I'm reading this law, I'm going to read the law first, right? You know, may the Most High bless this reading of this word. And I am going to continue to have a commentary about some recent developments. I'm not going to talk about American politics or social or anything. I'm going to talk about some recent developments on this side in the land of Israel. Some things that you may want to observe, because you may want to understand the significance of it. If you don't know, then you may want to look this up, because this is about to be an entire circus. So we'll discuss that later. So first, and it pertains to the law, okay? So we're about to have a fabulous discussion. Right? I know if you were watching this, I know most of my material is probably shadow banned on YouTube. It's probably hard to find. If you look us up, try to look at either Kingdom Farms or House of Instruction. If you look on the page, you see it's named House of Instruction, but it's probably Kingdom Farms. That's what I named the YouTube page before. So look that up. All right. So in our last class, we dealt with sleeping with a woman, taking her to be your wife. And what's the punishment of sleeping with a woman who practices witchcraft or worships idols? And today, I want to, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about widows and orphans. Now, this is a passion of mine, right? I really, really care for widows and orphans. I really, really want to build something special for the raising of widows and orphans. You know what I'm saying? And I may start a campaign soon for that. So I'm going to figure out what I want to do about it. And we'll talk about that in the future at another date, another time. So going to the law, we're going to now discuss widows and orphans from a lawful perspective. And keep your eyes and ears open in the coming days. We may have a orphan or widow project coming, okay? Or a campaign coming, because I'm going to build a full-fledged facility for not an orphanage, because it's going to be very different, okay? Very, very different. So the orphanage is not an orphanage. The facility it's going to be an educational facility. It's going to be a housing facility, and the widows and the orphans will be together, right? So the mothers who don't have husbands, the children who don't have mothers, right? And the single mothers who don't have a husband, we're going to start weaving families together, okay? And it's not a forceful thing. Those who wish to participate in this will participate. But the full housing unit will be a full-fledged thing. And the women who take other children and help raise them will have support. They will have benefits. They will have everything they need supplied. And when those women decide to take a husband, then they will take whoever this mother and the orphan children that she's also raising. So we're stitching back a family unit. That's the idea. We're working out some of the details, but we're going to talk about widows and orphans today in the law. All right. Deuteronomy 22, verse 21. You can see the book in the corner of the screen. And it starts off, you shall not impoverish the orphan or the widow. So it starts off as that you shall not create a plan, a scheme, or anything that makes them to be poor. All right. So you don't impoverish them. You don't overcharge them. You don't do anything. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. You have to build them up. So hence my building and my campaign to build for widows and orphans together. So you don't impoverish them. If thou impoverish her, beware, for if they rise up and cry against you in prayer before me, I will hear their prayer and will avenge them. So this right here is, if you do try to make riba or usury against a widow and orphan and charge them for extraneously for services, you don't make them even, stuff either at cost or at some discount so that they can have what they need, okay? Then the Most High will rise up against you, and there will be something to come for you, all right? And the Most High goes on to elaborate in this law, and my anger will be kindled, and I will slay you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children be orphans. So he's saying the same thing. So what is an orphan? A single mother with children, right? Those children are orphans. That is the definition, right? So without a father present, those children are orphans. Right? If the father has died, right, then the mother is a widow and those children are orphans. You understand? So it's not just you're an orphan without having, you're not an orphan without having father and mother in this place. You're an orphan without having a father. Okay? So I was raised as an orphan. I grew up in a single parent home. My father wasn't present, right? And my mother just raised us alone. This, I later rectified, having made peace with my father, and we have a fabulous relationship. He has come out to see me, and I have flown back to see him, and we have discussed everything that can be discussed and built a wonderful relationship. I love my father very much. So I'm not bitter against either parties. I discussed with my mother the same thing I discussed with my father, and we came to another understanding, right? We came to a mutual understanding. Both recognizes their wrongdoings in the situation. While you can't change or undo it, right? The product of coming to a lawful and truthful resolution has, again, repaired the breach in my own life. So I understand what an orphan needs, all right? A fatherless child. And this project that we're getting ready to put up, this next campaign to build the housing facility. When I say the housing facility, I mean this thing is going to have everything. It's going to have teachers. It's going to have training, hands-on, skills, artisan, crafts training. It's going to have, of course, education, engineering. You're going to have engineering facilities. Everybody is going to be brought in, right? Every child that doesn't have a father will be cultivated and mentored, right? And both sons and daughters alike, each one in their gifts, talents, and abilities to become skilled artisans. So this facility is going to be unseen in all the world, okay? And yeah, it will house single mothers and, only the single mothers who want to work with and raise orphan children, only those. Full health, recreational facilities, and we will take the whole development of this child and this mother into consideration. And yes, it is temporary. So the object of it is to give these children the basis, the foundations, and give them everything that they need. But it doesn't end after the mother gets married. When the mother gets married, the continuation of the training and support and the education continues with the family she's marrying into, right? So we're building families. And so when she's married into a family and, she's ready, there'll be plenty of mentorship and counseling to keep things repaired. And as the child raises up, they're going to have work and everything else. That father is going to now help and provide for these children, and everything, it will be under lawful guidelines. Okay? So now that's the orphans and the widows. Okay? This is the idea behind this project. And now we're going to go into money. Now, you probably haven't heard this before. I know, because while you may have a book, this one reads different. It reads with the authority of Allah, the authority of God. That being said, right, reading it with the authority of, it reads with the authority of God, and that God doesn't hide any details. That is so important to understand, because God doesn't have to hide a thing. He's God. There is nothing you can do to change or obstruct what his will, purpose, and plans are, right? So he can tell you with exacting detail what you are to do, what is to be done, and who is going to do it. There is nothing you can do to change that, okay? So we're going to talk about lending money. If thou lend money to one of my people, to one of the humble of my people, right? Now, most people don't understand what humble is, right? So Black people have been humbled. And you say, what are you talking about? What do you mean Black people have been humbled? We have been humiliated in the eyes of the entire world, forced to be an abased people in all of the countries where we have been scattered to since the Romans and the other nations they were confederate with ran us out of this land, right? In the date that they give of 2,000 years ago, of 70 AD. Okay? So everywhere we have went, we have not gained anything of substance. We are not allowed to become a nation or a people in any of those places or in any of those lands. We are not allowed to govern ourselves as a state nation, okay? So now this humiliation is a humbling, right? And so now after you come out of this humiliation, you come back here to learn to this, you will be considered one of the humbled of the people, okay? So if you are one of the humbled of my people, thou shalt not be to him as a usurer, which means everything is at cost, all right? You can't lend money to him with usury, okay? So now we have to set up our own financial institution, not under somebody else, not under the World Bank, not under the National Bank, not under FDIC, or any other banking institution. We have to formulate our own banking institution within the community, right? So this is why our community donation is so important. Anybody wants to do anything to further advance the community, they can come to the community and make a request. After the request is made and been considered, we look at the plans, we're going to look at what you want to do, and if it is possible and feasible at that time. Some things will be delayed because we may not have the resources to support the idea at that moment. However, it is not a no. It is just delayed. We will do this. We just have to get, and there will be a list. We have to get these things, and then we will do this project. And we will fund it. And it is funded at cost. So when you make this, you have to pay back what you borrowed from the community to build this thing for the advancement of the community. And you will pay that back. And after you've paid it back, then you will just continue with your community contribution, right? That's not no interest, right? The community contribution, again, is for the advancement and growth and for the redemption. The redemption, the word to redeem means to bring back from exile, to bring back from captivity, to bring back from the humility of being black people wherever you are, back into being a nation. So now the community contribution, because we have an obligation to help redeem our brothers who wish to come back. So the community contribution is absolute and there for the poor who don't have the means to return. Now, if you don't want to return, you're not going to get any help. Okay? If you say you want to return and you don't show any actions of the attempt of trying to return, you don't want any help. And the money doesn't go out of the community. It stays within the community. So the money that comes in the community continues to circulate within the community. It very rarely goes out of the community. We have a very slow outflow, and the inflow will continue to circulate within. This is what we call self-sufficiency. Okay? We very rarely go out, and once something comes in, it will come in and we will compile wealth on top of wealth. Okay? Neither lay it upon him that there shall be witnesses against him. So again, if you loan something to somebody, right, you have to understand this person have a lawful time to repay. You have a lawful time to make repayment. All right? If he is unable to do so, okay, then there is a lawful procedure to go about it, but we don't go and call witnesses against him for being poor. All right? We don't do that. That's not what we do. Okay? You don't go and call witnesses against him and he owes me money and we're going to now create a big fight about money. That is not how we do things. All right? Or equivalents or usury. So there cannot be any interest. There cannot be, well, since you can't pay me in money, give me this. You can't hold equivalence either. The value of this is that and the value, because if this man was delayed for any any extraneous reason, and you see that he just don't have it, he's not, okay, we're not talking about somebody who took the money, now they bought a Mercedes-Benz and didn't do anything business-wise to advance himself and to prosper himself, okay? That's not what we're talking about, okay? We're talking about you're taking a loan because you want to buy land. You are taking a loan because you want to sow a field. This is a good reason, right? You're taking a loan because you want to facilitate some need for the community at large. You see the different mindset? It's not self-advancement, it's community advancement, and from this you prosper yourself. You are supplying a need to the community at large, okay? It's not self-advancement, it is community advancement. And anybody wishing to advance the community will be given the opportunity to do so according to our law. All right? Now, we're going to go from this, right? We dealt with usury and money. If thou at all take a pledge, if thou take at all for a pledge the garment of thy neighbor, thou shalt restore it to him before sunset. So, poor people, a lot of poor people will seek to make an agreement to try to get some type of foothold or advancement. And they will always come to somebody who they believe has it, okay? That, you know, nobody asks somebody that they know doesn't have it for something to advance them, okay? They show some sign of something. And so poor people will tend to pledge what they have. Listen, I need this opportunity. I need this for this, this, and this. Listen here, listen, I'll give you, and they'll just take this and this, and I will make good for this. Well, if this person is pledging their clothes, okay, their clothes, which they wear, okay, I got this, I got shoes, I got, you know, I got a coat, and you could just take this, and I promise I'll make it good. If you take the pledge and you give the person what they ask for, and they actually give you the clothes, right? Of course, you're going to take down the information of who they are, where they're staying. You're going to verify all of the information to be true, and then give it to them. Give him the pledge, receive from him what he's pledging to get this that he needs for his family, for himself, for the development and growth and the prosperity of his family. Give it to him. Then, after you've seen this exchange and he has been honest, he says, go give him back his clothes before the sun sets. Give it back to him. Why? You say, why did I pledge and take this stuff? I don't even need it. And then I give it back to him. That's the purpose. You don't need it. You are only verifying his sincerity. You see he is poor. You have done your due diligence and research. He's hid and hid nothing from you. Give it back to him and let him have this for his family. And give him one warning. May God, may Allah bless you in your endeavors and use this for the betterment of your family. He may require even some assistance, some mentorship, some coaching, and some setup, some connection that needs to be made. Let this be also with him. For it may be, and the Most High gives you this warning, for it may be his talent, right? His cover, which alone covereth him, or it is his only garment in which he rests, which falleth upon his skin. And if thou take the coverlet of the bed whereon he lies, and he be heard before me, I will hearken to his prayer, for I am Allah the merciful. So now you've heard me say Allah, and you'll see Allah in this book. All right? So you will see this, and he says, if you make this man to be without warmth in the night, because you took his clothes, he will listen to his prayer, and he will begin to turn against you. This is a warning. Now, I know some of you would like to test God and test the theories. Well, you've already done that. You can continue if you wish. I am just now explaining to you what this is, okay? This next point, and this will be the last point until my next class, because the next class we're going to go into the foundations of the agricultural law and how we treat the ground and the things from the ground. All right. So, sons of Israel, my people, you shall not revile, which is speak against, which is curse at, curse out, which is say anything ill of or about, which is to come against, all right, with any type of disrespectful words, your judges. So anyone that is appointed judge or sheikh, right? This is the base level, nor the rabbins, right? The rabbins who are appointed rulers among thy people. So the rabbins, which will be the appointed rulers of the people. So you have sheikh, this person may be the head of a family. This person may be, even if the family is small, the head of some group. This may be the head of anything. He's a judge, right? And nobody is appointed without gaining the understanding of this law. None, okay? The one that understands this law and walks in it is the one that will be appointed, whether he is firstborn or not. So we have the option. We have firstborn, and he come and he learn and he does, and then there's choice, right? The firstborn will not do what the law says. Nope. The law reject him. We will take the one who comes and learns this law and walks in it. He will be appointed over the elder. That's how it works. All right? So you do not curse them or revile them or speak ill against them at all. This is a law. All right? We'll get into the punishment for this later on. You will see. It will begin to explain. All right? Now that we finished the reading of the law and you've gotten some foundational understanding about some more of the rules, I want to talk about the recent developments in Israel right now. So some of you may notice or have heard that they have found the red heifer. Now, they've had red heifers. I've been in Israel. I lived in Israel for many years. This red cow, right, is the cow with red fur, the red hair all over, right, and no white. They've got plenty of them. But, you know, according to their standards, they wanted to find whatever they wanted to find and say that this was the red heifer that, you know, that they have. And they have a bunch of them now. All of a sudden, they have a couple of them, a few. And I'm happy for them. You want to know why I'm happy for them? For these people who claim to be the people. All right, so I had to say this, that I'm happy for them. I'm happy they found the red heifers that was already there. But okay, so now you have a bunch of them. And now these heifers is full grown or whatever. So you know they've had them for some time because they're not like baby cows that are just born. These are full grown, fully red cows. So now they claim they got it at this time. You know what? Go ahead on and do what you're going to do. Summon fire from heaven, right? Or make some trick. Do it. I wish you the best because, you know, you have to prove you are the people. So if you're going to prove it, you're going to have to be the people now. You're going to have to really get everything in order, get your Levites, get everything and make this. Because the covenant is with the people, the covenant not with converts. The converts are supposed to be under the people, supporting the people. You're not supposed to be over the people to make yourself the people and oppressing the people. So go do it. You're going to find yourself in the middle of this war destroyed. You and all your Confederates, right? That goes for all of you. There won't be no surviving. You can run to the mountains. You can do what you like. And I'm very happy that you finally have everything to prove you are after 70 years. You were supposed to do it in 40, right? So, you know, I'm sorry. It's my passion talking. You were supposed to do it in 40. So you haven't done it in 40, so you broke the law of Moses. You've never done 400 years of captivity, ever, never, never, okay? But the people who have, at this time, we have a convergence. You've possessed the land for 70 years, as was written by the prophecy, right? You have possessed the people in America in oppression. You have not restored anything to them. You have not done anything, right? It's written that you guys, both the Ashkenaz and the Sephard, it is written that you worship Molech. So call your God, right? Call him. Make your sacrifice, get your chosen one, and make great all your display. I promise you this is the end of all of this foolishness, right? And after all of this, there will be a next. You don't know the process. You don't accept the way. If you are with, and you are waiting for me to quote some New Testament and you are here, you can forget about it. The ancient scrolls only stop at Malachi. And to be honest, Malachi isn't the last book. The last books are the books of Ezra. It was Ezra that was there at the ousting by the Romans, right? So Ezra, Nehemiah, they were there, and Pedaiah was king at the time of 70 AD by the Catholic Church with the ousting. Everybody who has any belief in the New Testament is worshiping an idol, right? And that's what it is, right? Because the entirety of the books of Paul, right? Paul was the founder of the Catholic Church, and this is the Catholic Church that is oppressing you. They don't fix nothing. They didn't fix nothing. You're supposed to be the people. These people are destroying you, but you wish to continue. Ask yourself why you are the most hated people in all the world, and why all this is upon you, and why you can't get out of it, and why no one will come to your aid, why no one will help or support you, and why you can't pull yourself together. You have no law. You have no culture, right? You create this bastard culture in every place that you are because you've forsaken the law and the culture of the family. So now you have the opportunity to fix it. Will you, is the question, right? You have the opportunity. You're going to have to change your mind, change what you know. You're going to have to relearn everything. From these detailed manuscripts, you can reconstruct. The question is, will you? Will you, who have a provision, donate to the community to build. You can come, you can observe, you can participate, right? But will you donate, right? Will you give to build for the widows and the orphans? Will you give to build the living facilities for families, husbands and wives, for men, for women? Will you build? Will you invest in this? Or like you give to all the other charities around the world, will you give to your own kingdom to restore it? That's the question. Because if you will, then do so. The links is in the link tree below, right? We're trying to raise $12 million to build a fully functioning, self-sufficient community. It's not for the profit of any one man. The proceeds go to expanding the community. It doesn't come to me. It doesn't go to anybody, right? We have to build for the next one to come. So the profits of the community is shared by its residents, right? This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, right? Because if the community has $1 million in assets, the members of the community have millions of dollars in assets, right? Period. That's because we're working as a collective, and the collective is greater than the whole. We have one law, we have one culture. Anybody who gives and donates is affiliated with the community. You have no say because we have one law. We have an order, and we are building our administration through our education. And it's only ones that will be appointed within the community are of our brethren and our sisterin. It's our kingdom. So there's no way for outsiders to infiltrate. Besides, I'm shadow banned on YouTube, so if you are watching this, you've sought for it. You've found it somehow. And if you found it, go to the link tree below. We're asking you to just give $5, $10, $20, $30, $100. Donate, because this war is coming and you will need a place to go. If you're not coming here, you don't have to donate here. If you don't want to give here, don't give here. There's no constraint. We're building anyway, right? We're building in spite of. This has been 7 years of working hard and putting all into this. 7 years of investment. So if one person just continues to work on it, the plan is so perfect, given from Moses, right, that it works, even if just one person does it. Everything can be rebuilt from one. All right? But it says that you would, you, the remnant, you who are the chosen people, who are to come, who are to rebuild, it said you would hear this word and you would respond to it. That's who I'm talking to, right? It says that you would be poor, that you don't have much. But while you don't have much and you are poor, you are many. So I'm speaking to you. Go down to the link tree, donate today. If there is 12 million of you, now there's 55 million of you in America, another 40 to 50 million of you in South America, and throughout Africa, there's untold and uncounted millions. And throughout the rest of Europe and Asia, another untold, unnumerous account of millions. And even in Australia, so if you even go down there, there's untold, uncounted millions of you around the world. If just 12 million give $1, right? The community can be built in 3 to 6 months here. And from this community, we can begin to bring in the best and the brightest, and prepare for the next wave and the next wave and the next wave. And only the remnant can do it. So I'm talking to you before the destruction comes, because it is coming. Before the war begins, because it will begin. You may turn a blind eye. I'm not talking to you. You may ignore my words. I'm not talking to you if you're ignoring me. I'm only talking to those who can hear. This is the prince, the true prince. I'm not here to prove that anymore. My documentaries are up. I've been posted everywhere already. It wasn't important to you to find the prince when it was happening. But if you found me now, and this is what you want to do, you want to build this administration, and you are tired of being oppressed, you are tired of being the bottom, you are tired of fighting the world, then come back and join the family who is welcoming you back, who want you to return because the world was better when you were in your place. So here's your opportunity. And I'll see you in the next class.